White working class Americans feel that they are the subject of more discrimination and persecution than minorities. 67% of the white working class, and more than half of whites in general in this country feel that way. Asians and Latinos feel threatened. Not just Muslims and Jews feel threatened, Christians feel threatened now. You can really see that in the political rhetoric right now. With Donald Trump in the office, women definitely feel threatened. But with the Me Too movement, men feel threatened. So straights and gays both feel threatened, liberals and conservatives. And everybody views other people's claims of being threatened as preposterous, but that is exactly the point of political tribalism. And so what happens is when people feel threatened, that is when they become more tribal. Again, this is also just, there's studies showing this, that's when they get more insular, more defensive, more us versus them. I think we're starting to see the emergence of a market-dominant minority in the United States. It's not like other countries. We're always different and idiosyncratic. I mean, we're not an ethnic nation. But I think that you can start to see these, again, us, coastal elites, as America's own version of a market-dominant minority that breeds resentment against this like poor, less advantaged group.
This idea that the Eastern elites are running the country and can't be trusted, that goes back to the beginning. The sense that the elites, you think about Boston Brahmin, the New York commercial community, the Eastern newspapers were dominant, and this was much resented by people in the Midwest. America has this completely unique notion of nationalism. In this respect, it is exceptional. You're an American because you accept the principles of the Declaration of Independence. That is what binds everybody together, because it's an immigrant country otherwise. But it isn't even the Constitution, because as Lincoln said, and in order to make the case for fighting the Civil War, the Declaration supersedes the Constitution. It's the principles that drive it. He called it the apple of gold in the frame of silver, the frame being the Constitution. He says the frame was made for the apple wasn't made for the frame. And this was the big, the key element of justifying an essentially extra-constitutional war against the South. And I think this tension can be seen running through the entire era of American history. And the irony, of course, is the founders of the Republic were Anglo-Protestant men. And they assumed that Anglo-Protestants would dominate the country and that culture. They didn't think Catholics, Asians, Muslims, African Americans, or women for that matter, were really fit to run a democracy. I mean, Amy's right. In France or Germany, a Turk could live in Germany. They're more likely to be born in Germany, but they'll never be German. In the United States, if you follow the laws and pursue changes in the law through the accepted constitutional effort, instructions, then you're an American.
We're not an ethno-nationalist country. So here, Bob and I could not agree more that to the extent that we have leaders and president that is pushing us in this direction is just un-American.
We are still open to Russian attack in the way we have been, because the Republican Party doesn't have an interest in stopping it. And so they control both houses in the White House, and so we're not going to do anything about it. That's the reality of American politics, isn't it wonderful?
It goes back, why is it effective? It's effective because we're a tribe. The Russians took stuff that's out there, right? They're tapping. It's not like they invented it. We have these divides. There is this virulence, and then they magnified it. So, but it's terrible. This needs to be addressed, and it's an emergency. The integrity of our electoral system.